Yo, what the hell's up? Welcome back to Reviews with Jake, where I just got done watching Come to Daddy. Come to Daddy's the story about an estranged father and son who meet each other for the first time in years at a remote oceanfront property. And legitimately, that's probably about all I can safely say because I want you to go in just as blind as I did into this movie. It's about all I knew going in thanks to Amazon's incredibly vivid description of it, so here I am returning the favor. With that in mind, this review is going to kind of be tiptoe city to avoid spoilers, but I'll do the best I can. Although you probably already know, like I did going in, that Elijah Wood's in it, so it's gonna be an interesting watch. Seriously though, can we take a minute to talk about Elijah Wood's career trajectory? When The Lord of the Rings is quite possibly the least ridiculous thing on your resume, that is mind-boggling. I seriously think he and Daniel Radcliffe are having a low-key under-the-radar competition to see who can shock us the most with these bananas roles that they're all taking after having these iconic fantasy roles. I see your smokes weed with man in dog suit and I raise you playing a corpse. Well played. I'll counter with a smirky cannibalistic murderer. Oh, you want to talk murder? Try this on, friend. Speaking of which, I need to watch that damn movie because it has just been staring at me the last few months through COVID. But first, Come to Daddy. Here we go. For the pros, let's talk visuals because this movie had some serious style to it. It had wonderful cinematography with brilliant use of lighting. Whether it was coming from a flickering fireplace or a nearby neon sign, the lighting in this movie made the colors super vibrant, very beautiful, a feast for the eyes. The ears also got a treat because this movie had a very sporadic yet very effective soundtrack. The soundtrack goes through so many different style and genre changes throughout the movie, and normally I don't like that kind of thing. I usually like my soundtracks and films to be more consistent because it makes the film's tone feel consistent. But I thought that it worked here, actually. Despite the fact that it went through so many different changes from scene to scene, I thought all of it played very well and married well together. This movie goes through some serious mood changes, like outside of just the soundtrack. I mean, this movie was a ride, to say the least. It is borderline impossible to get a beat on this movie, especially if you go in blind like I did. I mean, you just genuinely never know what is going to happen in this movie, and I respect that. It makes the movie experience that much more enjoyable when you don't really know what's going to happen at any given moment. You feel as if all cards are always at play, and I love that. You go from these tense, finely written exchanges between the father and son that feel like The Lighthouse, to some really awkward, dark humor, to some really brutal violence. I mean, it kind of has a little bit of everything. There's a lot going on here, and it's all really well done thanks to some great acting performances. This is like a true indie film experience. You don't feel as if there's a studio whispering into the ear of a director, guiding his hand as he does his craft. This feels like an artistic expression. You genuinely feel as if he had a vision, and this is 100% him putting that on screen. It reminds us of the limitless potential of this medium, that there are no rules, that there is no set formula or structure that you need to follow. You can do whatever you want, and it can be enjoyable and enthralling all the same. However, that being said, while I do respect this movie for being bold and different, that doesn't mean that I don't think that a little bit of structure would have hurt it. All I'm saying is that this movie genuinely feels like two different films. Like, the first half of the movie has its own style, its own genre, its own goals, message, everything, and then the second half has its own set of all those things completely different. Both halves were very well made, don't get me wrong, and I would love to see the full versions of both of these halves fully realized in a full film, but just kind of cramming them together into the same movie just felt erratic and rather unstable. It's a completely different movie and a completely different scenario, but I keep thinking of Sorry to Bother You in comparison to this movie, and I'm not going to spoil that movie, but it kind of does something similar that it just kind of flips on itself. It's two completely different movies kind of crammed into one. You applaud movies like this for going for it in a sense, but at the same time, at least me, I get a little bummed. To me, the joy of watching a movie is not only seeing what A is, what B is, and then what C is, but kind of seeing the seamless transition between them as they kind of flow together. But when you have A and B that are doing this, and then C is in the back alley doing crystal meth, I don't know, it just kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth about A and B. It feels like unfinished almost. This is totally just a matter of preference for me personally, and really, this is going to be a polarizing movie. The people, whether they like it, love it, hate it, whatever, is all going to be based on preference for this movie. That being said, all in all, despite the fact that I didn't fully agree with all the things that they did and the direction they take it, they did it damn good, and I respect it for being bold. I'm gonna give Come to Daddy a B. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, stay up to date on new reviews coming real soon. Stay safe and thanks for checking in.